Hello everyone, welcome to Color Elated. I stand before you barefaced for a reason. A lovely follower of mine, Shanitra Petterway, and please forgive me, girl, if I said your name the wrong way. I'm so sorry. Requested that I share my foundation routine, and I'm more than happy to do that. Um, if you follow my blog on blogger.com, you'll know that there's a post that I did a few months ago called Four Fabulous Foundations. Four foundations that I just think are absolutely wonderful. And the beautiful thing about foundations nowadays, because I remember as a child back in the 60s watching my mother do her makeup, and her choices were so limited. And even when I was growing up, the choice back in the 70s, and I was a teenager, the choices were still rather limited. Nowadays, young women, and especially young women of color, have so many choices on foundations. And foundations do different things at different times for different skins, and you can just have your pick. And if you go to that post on blogger.com, you'll see four that I think are beautiful, and each is special in its own way. But today I'm going to be working with what is indeed my favorite foundation, and it is one of the four fabulous ones. And I hope you really enjoy the tutorial, the time I'm sharing with you on this is what I do for my skin all the time. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Priming the skin is just so important. I mean, you can have one of the best foundations, and I really think I'm working with one of the best foundations. But I think if I really pay close attention to the skin underneath, the makeup's only going to look as good as the skin underneath. And it's really funny for me because now I'm 53, and this year I'll be 54, and I can remember so vividly back in my teens, my 20s, my 30s, my 40s. And I remember in my 30s, I had made this conscientious effort. Okay, we're going to start on some good skincare. We're going to start doing this. We're going to do that. Then the whole bowl of nuts. We're going to go from cleansers all the way to serums and everything in between. And that really hasn't changed for me. But now in my 50s, when I look at my skin, the issues that I had back then, I really don't have now. Back then, it was excessive oiliness, breaking out, and of course, as a woman of color, you get the hyperpigmentation. That's one of the reasons why I've always loved full coverage foundations. And even though I really don't need one now, I still use one because I just love the finish. But in any event, my skin now is less oily. I don't have to worry about breakouts. It's been a long time since I've broken out. But my big concern now is texture. I want the texture of my skin to be smooth. And now I'm seeing, especially with my decolletage, I'm seeing how the skin is getting a little thinner and a little more crepey. So now it's taking serums and lotions and things and putting them down here a little bit more. And, even as a younger woman, you need to get into that habit. Just remember your neck, remember your chest, your decollete. Just protect those areas. And the more you do that, the longer I think you're going to have really beautiful skin. So when I start out in the morning, a good cleanser. Right now, I'm using the L'Oreal Revitalift, and even though Revitalift, as a matter of fact, right here it says radiant and smoothing, and that's what I'm looking for. As a matter of fact, oddly enough, I really like the products that do fight wrinkles. And I don't have wrinkles, but what I like about those products is they tend to smooth the skin. They really work on the texture, and they just make my skin super smooth. So I absolutely love the Youth Code Texture Perfector, and I've been using that for a couple of weeks now. And my skin has been clean, and so I apply there. And I've been using it for, I think, maybe nearly 2 weeks now. And I love the texture, love the way it feels. Okay, so I'm rinsing, wiping off my hands. Because now I'm going to go into my moisturizing. And I always use a lightweight moisturizer that has an SPF. I think that's just so important. And so again, the L'Oreal Youth Code, and this has an SPF of 30. And usually during the day, I'm doing this Usually in the morning I'm a mad woman, and my husband can attest to that. I'm putting serums on, lotions on, and I'm waiting for a few seconds in between to really give them the chance to seep in, so to speak. Now, because I'm also a texture fanatic, believe it or not, I do use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I've just started using this. I received a sample of it, and I loved it so much, and I only use just a touch. And I'm really interested in these areas right here. It's extremely lightweight. And the last thing I do, and that just gives the foundation like a glass-like finish. The last thing I do is my Milk of Magnesia. And if you've not tried Milk of Magnesia, especially those of you who are of an oily skin, please just go and get yourself a little bottle of it. And get the regular. Doesn't need to be mint or cherry flavored. Unfortunately, I think I got the mint. I may have to go get a plain one. I wasn't paying attention. And I am telling you, now the really horrible thing about it is it'll give your skin this whitish cast, and you've seen that on a lot of my YouTube videos, I know. But you're going to put your makeup on anyway, so it really doesn't make any difference. And to a certain extent, I kind of like the color it does provide. And then last but not least, I'm going to moisturize my lips. And now my skin is ready for foundation. Now as I go through the foundation routine, I'm going to be sharing some products that I may not be using today, but I really, really love them. And trust me, I've gone through quite a bit of makeup in my time, really finding those things that I love. And like a lot of women, I have a collection of things that I love, but I kind of bounce between certain things. It's like, oh, I think I'll try this now. And then it's like, I'm tired of using that. I'm going to go to this one now. We all do it. So, my favorite foundation on the planet, Fashion Fair's Souffle Foundation. I think Fashion Fair matches our skins beautifully, and they really hit the undertones well. And I love the consistency of this foundation. It's water-based. As you can see, I've worn it down. It comes in a nice size jar too, so it really lasts. You can go lighter coverage, very full coverage, and the look is just, to me, stunning. And my color is tender, and it's a very popular color, but it is dead on. And then it goes on very well with my Real Techniques brush. I'm going to swipe a little bit of this on here, and I just start wherever. I just disperse it. I'm going to try not to go as full as I can. Probably just try to stay as middle of the road, but of course you adjust it the way you want to. And I don't think you have to have 53, soon to be 54-year-old skin to love this makeup. Especially now that we're in spring and the warmer weather. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to go ahead and put some on my eyes. I usually don't put this on my eyes, but I'll go ahead and do that this time. That's basically it for me. And of course I can adjust that. I mean, if I just really want to hit some of the more problematic areas, I can do that. That's basically it for me. Then I like to get into my contouring, my highlighting. Now, as you can see with this full coverage foundation, yeah, it takes away the flaws, but you can also see how it takes away the dimensions of my face. You really don't see the cheekbones. You really don't see much definition on the face. And so when you cosmetically take something away, you need to cosmetically put it back. So we're going to be working with contouring and highlighting. And the whole yin and yang of light and dark helps to create that dimension on your face. And as I'm sure you've already heard, the light areas give the illusion of coming forward, and it's the dark areas that have the illusion of going back. So if you just learn how to play with those on your face, you're going to see some really magic things happen. So one of the things I love to do, I love to start off with underneath the eye. And I have two that I absolutely love. I love the LA Girl Pro Concealer. Oh, my glasses. Yeah, LA Girls Pro Concealer. Warm Honey is a color I've used a lot. This is another color. I don't know. It's probably a little bit lighter than that, but I think that's great. But what I'm going to be using now is the MAC Pro Concealer in NC35. And I only need just a touch. It's probably even a little too much. That's okay. And then I'm using a really neat brush that I found on eBay. I bought a few of these. They have a Lancome stamp, so I'm going to assume that they're Lancome. But they are just perfect for doing what I have to do. Now I just want to show you. Okay, that's basically it. That's basically where I go. And then to just blend upwards towards the temple. And what's so great about this, and I think younger women can attest to this also, but being my age, it almost gives you, if you do it right, just gives you the illusion of that going up. And looks like you've had almost like an eye lift. And I'm all for that. I'm all for that. So, and then we'll just take this down by the nose, bring that down. And you really, when you stop and think about it, you really like those touches of light hitting these areas. Just think of it that way. Think of it as the light just hitting these areas. And it just gives that wonderful illusion. Now what I like to do right after that, where are you? Is I like to take a yellow powder. I'm sure the Ben Nye banana powder or any kind of yellow powder would work really well. And I love the yellow powder because it aids in that highlight and it gives me that really nice, boy, I look like one of those National Geographic warriors. I think that's kind of cool. That's really kind of cool. Anyway, and with a beauty blender or any kind of really nice brush, great thing to just put this, just pat it in. Now, as you can see, I like that band right across here, but I also want to come into this area also. And get that in as well as you can. And then I'm going to go with my other powder. It's hiding from me. And I've talked about my Chanel Poudre Universelle Libre. Okay, I know I can't roll an R to save my life. And just hit the other areas. And this is, I believe, transparency number 3. Whatever their darkest one is, And when you first get it, if you're a woman of color, you look at it and you say, oh, there's no way. But it really is the color. It really is. And it comes with the absolutely luscious velour puff. It just gets the color on. It's just so nice. Did I mention I went on ahead and did my brows? I don't know if I mentioned that. I did. I went on ahead and did my brows. And so I'm going to take this brush and just try to blend that in. Okay, so we are not finished. We are now going to go to the contouring part of this. And here's where you're going to need a powder that's dark enough, matte enough. And for a lot of women, it's different things. There are some MAC blushes, for instance, even some MAC eyeshadows. I've seen some women use for contouring. There are definitely products made specifically for that. I've tried a few of them. I can rattle off some names. New York Color made one, the Sun to Sun, they made it in dark. I can't find it anymore. Guerlain made one and probably still makes it, but it's extremely expensive. So the one I do like and I've been using for years now is the Sleek Contour. And the really funny thing is I use this. I'm not as crazy about this side, and I'll explain that in just a minute. So, hold on. Oh, God, that was a scare. I thought I didn't have it. So another Real Techniques brush. Love their brushes, and we're going to dip right into that. And what you want to do is really find one that does the job but doesn't look too muddy. It's a really interesting thing. It's a very fine line. It can look too muddy, or it can just look absolutely perfect. So what I do is the three, going on around there under the cheekbones, and then back under here. And let me get on that right now. And the Sleek color, I believe mine is the dark, works so beautifully well. Go to sleek.com, and I think they have another, they have the basic one like this, and then I think they have a more upgraded contouring and highlighting system. I've never used that one, but I like to just come right around the forehead, and then again underneath that cheekbone, and then right underneath the jaw. And when you get a little bit older, you find that you're kind of pooching a little here, and it's kind of nice to have that almost seem like it erases itself. Now, I also go here and also go there. Just to bring a little more shadow and light in. And now's the time when I do use the highlighter. And as I said, you know, there is the Sleek highlighter, but, and this is beautiful, but it's just a little too gold for me, and I don't like it real golden. Let me show a couple that I like. I do like the Benefit Sugar Bomb. And this was kind of an impulse buy. And for a long time, it was like, well, why did I buy it? But I started using it as a highlighter, and I really like it. Now, for some skins, this is a blush. But this gives just the right amount of golden without being too golden. And I like that. But it gives a really nice shimmer. Probably the one I love the most is this Dior. And I've had it for a while, and I've used it incessantly. And And I like a nice angled brush like this. And this is where I go over the area that I put the banana powder on. And I wish you could see the really pretty glow it gives. Very nice. Very, very nice. Probably do a little bit of highlighting up here as well. And if I really, really wanted to go a step further, I would take my MAC Prep and Prime, and I've done this before on some occasions, and I really do like to use this up on the high cheek because this gives a real glow. And it looks so pretty once I've applied my blush. As a matter of fact, I really prefer to apply the blush first and then put that on. Okay, and that's pretty much it. And believe it or not, that's what I do just about every morning. And I've got it down to a science now. And what's really kind of neat is that some of the younger gurus I see on YouTube, they do even more than I do. So I don't feel so bad. But this is what I like for my skin. And again, it's those little tricks of the trade. For you younger ladies, again, start the skincare now. So that when you get my age, it's just a habit and you'll really reap the benefits. This, my skin can look a lot better, but I'm really happy with the fact that well into my 20s, I was staying diligent with the skincare. And I really love my skin now. I think my skin looks the best it's probably ever looked. And I really attribute a good part of that to just good discipline. And some of the techniques that I like to use just really, lift and give me a smoother looking skin. So please give me some suggestions, things that you like to use. If there's something that's absolutely wonderful for you, put it down there in the comment box. I'd love to say, even though this is what I love to use, I love trying new things. And please rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around. And Shanitra, thank you, girl. But I'm sorry it took so long, but I hope it was helpful. You all take care, stay blessed, stay color elated. Have a good week.